Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order. Now for this week's Pokemon X Team Building video, I'm going to send in another bunch of Pokemon that I haven't used yet. So we got 4 new ones, and I'm going to bring back a previously defeated Pokemon and a previous victorious Pokemon. See if we can get some of those guys into the winner's circle as well. Now what I'm doing is kind of weeding out the strongest from the weakest, trying to see which of them are the most powerful to bring them into the upcoming Omega Ruby Wi-Fi battles. So I'm not giving up on the Pokemon that don't succeed, unfortunately. They're getting that nice little red glow in the team video, or the team shot at the end of the battles. What I want to actually do is try bringing them into different formats. Because some Pokemon, I'm thinking like, for example, Dratini, he doesn't do that well in a double battle, because with the Focus Sash, he'll survive 1 hit, but if the opponent attacks him twice, he's not going to survive the first turn. He might do a little better in a singles battle, though, or a rotation battle, or something like that. So once I've gotten through the entire team, I'm going to break it down and bring the winners over to the Omega Ruby game. I'm going to keep doing some Pokemon X battles, maybe as some side content on the channel, showing off the different formats. Because what we're doing right now is we're sticking to the double battles, which are used at the official Play Pokemon events. I want to kind of show off those battles. And double battles I find a little more in depth. Like you have to think so many more things. You got to think of 2 opponents. You got to think of their abilities and how your stuff is going to affect them. So double battles is what we're focusing on for the time being, but as I say, in the future I'm going to continue the Pokemon X battles using different formats. I'm thinking I'll start with the single, actually. So anyway, that's a little bit into the future, another few weeks or so. We still got some more Pokemon to try to get into the winner's circle in the Pokemon X double battles, and we're going to take a look at the team I've assembled for this week to try to do just that. Let's check them out. First up for this week's new team is Fluffy the Clefable, caught all the way back in Mount Moon in Kanto back in Fire Red. You'll see she has the sassy nature, which does give her a little boost to the special defense. Her ability is Cute Charm, which will infatuate any opponent of the opposite gender that makes physical contact against her. And the item, I didn't know really what to give her for an item, but I decided since she is pretty slow, let's just give her the Quick Claw and see if that can give us some good luck in some of the battles. So the super training I kind of spread around a little bit. I wanted to even the defenses as I do for most of my Pokemon, and I had to max out the physical defense, 238, and I gave a little bit to the special defense as well. Gave her some HP training to get some get like a little above the 350 mark, and put the rest into the special attack just so that we can use or make use of her first attack, which you'll see here is Flamethrower. Initially, my idea was I wanted to give her an attack that could possibly burn an opponent, because back in the older games, in Gen 5 and lower, she was a normal type, and she was only weak to fighting, and most fighting attacks were physical based, so my hope was I could burn the opponent with Flamethrower, lower the attack stat of the opposing fighting type. But now that she has become a fairy type and she is suddenly weak to steel, Flamethrower makes a lot more sense than I originally thought. She also does have Metronome, which in a pinch I'm going to try anyway just for the sheer thrill of it. I love the random effect that Metronome can give, like you don't know what's going to happen. And I realize that's not the most competitive mindset, because you want to have like a surefire way of winning your battles in the online matches. But for me, I play Pokemon for fun, and Metronome for me is fun. Now she does have Moonlight and Minimize to help with the evasiveness and the healing aspect. So that's going to round out her moveset there. Next Pokemon in the list will be Canuck the Bibarel. I caught him back in my Sinnoh adventures in Pearl. He was actually the second Pokemon that I ever caught. And you'll see his nature is mild, which gives him a boost to special attack, and the ability Unaware means that the opponent's stat changes will not come into effect when he's doing his attacks. So from what I understand, it means the evasiveness of the opponent won't matter, also any boost to their defenses. And I think the opponent's offensive boosts don't actually affect Canuck either. I think that's what Unaware does in a nutshell. And the item I've given him is Muscle Band to give him some boosted power to his physical attacks. Super training went thusly. I even the defenses at 150, which is a good number to sort of aim for when you're training someone for the online battles. Put most of the special or super training into his physical attack, bringing it to 253. The remainder I put into special attack to help him with all 3 of his attacks that he has, starting with Headbutt. Now, he's not going to outspeed most people. He has only a speed stat of 161. But there are 2 ways we can slow the opponent down. We did teach him Thunder Wave, so any non-electric type and any non-ground type, we're going to be able to paralyze with Thunder Wave. Suddenly we might be outspeeding them. And if not, if they're immune to Thunder Wave, we can use Bulldoze. got decent power, but it always has the effect of lowering the opponent's speed. Also, if we are fighting a ground type immune to Thunder Wave, I did teach him Ice Beam for just such an occasion, so we can get some super effective damage off. It won't be boosted by the Muscle Band, but it's sort of like a situational kind of attack that hopefully will pay off when the moment arises. And the next in the list will be Shelly, the Blissey. This was actually the egg that you get in the Sinnoh adventure. Someone in, I think, Hardhome City gives you the egg, and it hatches into a Happiny. And she is since evolved from Happiny into Chansey and now Blissey. And her nature is Docile, which is a neutral nature, so nothing will be boosted, nothing will be lost. Her ability is Serene Grace, which increases the chance of a secondary effect of an attack activating. I might someday want to teach her actually Natural Cure, or at least teach her some attacks that have more secondary effects. You'll see she doesn't have a lot of that, just really one of those. And for the item I gave her Leftovers, most of the time you're not going to see a Chansey or Blissey without Soft Boil, because that is a good healing move, but this particular Blissey, Shelly here, she doesn't have Soft Boiled. Maybe I'll teach it to her some other time, but for the time being, her healing is going to come from the Leftovers. I wasn't sure what to do with her stats, but I decided there are two things that a Blissey does well, HP and Special Defense. I figured why not make her do those exceptionally well. So I maxed out both of those in Super Training, put the remainder into her Special Attack, which is going to help boost the power of her Psychic move, which is her only reliable physically offensive move. Well, not physically, but her offensive move is Psychic. Same idea sort of with my Clefable. Since Shelly is weak to fighting types, I wanted to give her something to protect that, and I gave her Psychic to be super effective against the opponents, and that's why I put some training into the Special Attack. Now, Copycat is an interesting move to have on Blissey. It's a move that I'm pretty sure Happiny can only learn, and if, say, Happiny evolves to Chansey and they forget Copycat, they can never get it back again. This is similar to my Persian from last week, where she still has Payday, and again, not the most reliable move in the Wi-Fi battles, but I want to keep a move that they cannot relearn ever again, because it just makes them a little more unique, and you never know when it might pay off. Copycat will actually copy the last move used just before Shelly during the battle, so this could have any wide variety of effects. And with the Serene Grace ability, let's say if the opponent uses something like Tri-Attack, if we Copycat that, we have a boosted chance of getting the secondary effect from Tri-Attack, so we can get a status condition off. I have Attract on her as well, so we can immediately infatuate any male opposing Pokemon. Possibly, like, they say Attract has a 50% chance of causing an attack to fail each turn. In my experience, I'd say it's closer to 80%, because I don't know how many times I've been unable to battle because my opponent is infatuated, or my Pokemon is infatuated by the opponent, and they just do not attack. So, let's hope the percentages work out well in my favor as well. So we got Attract and Minimize, again, much like my Clefable Fluffy, to increase the evasiveness of this particular Pokemon, hopefully dodge some attacks. And the last new addition to the team for this week will be Scales the Salamence. And this is the 5th Pokemon I think I caught for my Kalos team. I decided I wanted to catch a Pokemon that could go into the Sky battles, but not be weak to Electric, because I was building an Electric weakness on my team quite considerably. And I thought, let's just go with a Flying and Dragon type Salamence. So we'll see the ability for Scales is Impish, which does give a boost to physical defense. So for the Super Training, well, first ability is Intimidate. I know the hidden ability for Salamence can be Moxie, I'm pretty sure, and I would really like if I had that, but that is a hidden ability, and when you catch Pokemon in your main run through a game, you're going to get like the standard abilities. So Intimidate is what Scales has. A lot of his moves don't have full accuracy, but they're pretty close, so I gave him the wide lens to make sure he's going to hit as many of his attacks as possible. Now, for the Super Training, I decided I want to go all out with his attack and defense, because he does have max IVs in both of those stats, and he does have the Impish nature, which boosts defense. So he's got the most defense that he could possibly have as a Salamence, 284. Attack is pretty decent at 351, but I could have trained a little bit more in that. I actually wanted to put some into the speed as well, because a lot of his moves, well, not a lot, but one of his moves is going to deal with trying to get some flinches off on the opponent. As you'll see here, he has Dragon Claw, which is just good for stab power. It's going to be boosted by being a dragon type, and he's got nothing but offensive moves. I could actually give him something like the Assault Vest at some point to give him better special defense. But his moves are The other three are essentially moves to deal with his ice weakness, but they do come in handy against other types. Steel Wing will be good against ice. It's also going to be good against Fairy, which I didn't even consider at the point, but Steel is good against Fairy type. And if we're lucky, he'll get the defense boost off of Steel Wing as well. Fire Fang is also good for ice types, and it's going to possibly get some flinches, possibly get some burns. And Rock Tomb will be good for slowing the opponent down. A lot of the times with my teams, I like to try and incorporate speed control into it. So you'll see a while back I had a Crocodile with Scary Face. I don't see a lot of people use the move Scary Face, but it really comes in handy when you slow the opponent down and suddenly you're getting more attacks sooner than they can. So Rock Tomb is there for slowing the opponent down. Once we get off one Rock Tomb, maybe two on some fast Pokemon, Scale should be able to outspeed them pretty well with the 252 for his speed stat. And the Wide Lens should boost the accuracy of all these moves, I'm thinking pretty much to 100%, because they're not that far off from 100 to begin with. So that's the 4 new Pokemon for this week. Our returning defeated Pokemon from previous weeks, I'm giving this guy one more shot for the time being. It's going to be Stinger the Beedrill. Now, I haven't done anything new with him, because his moveset is pretty... I guess it's kind of situational as well, but when it works really well. He's got the Hasty Nature, which does give him a speed boost. Sadly, it actually lowers the defense of the Pokemon as well, so that's like the negative side of it. It kind of is really unfortunate because he was born with maximum IVs in defense, so he'll never really see his full potential with the defense stat because of the Hasty Nature. But again, as I said before, defense is really not what a Beedrill is known for, so we're not going to worry too much about that. His ability is Swarm, which will boost his Bug-type moves when he is low HP, and I've given him the Salac Berry, which will boost his speed, again, if he's at low HP. And I put as much super training as possible into the attack and speed. We got 277 and 269 respectively. And just to make use of that max IV, I did put the remainder of his super training into defense. I realized what I should probably do, since he does have the defense lowering nature. Maybe next time I take him into a battle, I'm going to actually put the remainder of the EVs into special defense. Give him a little bit more of a boost that way. And his attacks are the same as they were before. We have Twineedle, which is a good, again, same type attack bonus. And we could get some poisoning off on the opponent. That could work well if we do use the Endure attack, or Endeavor as well. Like if we lower the opponent down low, the poison could finish them off. So Twineedle is there for that. I was considering teaching him U-turn instead. That way we can get some good damage off because he's pretty fast. Chances are he might outspeed the opponent, get off a good U-turn, and then swap out. But I figured he's kind of more useful right now to try to get poison on the opponent. And with Twineedle, you get like 2 chances to get that poison effect. I also taught him Drill Run to deal with his rock and fire type weaknesses. And it has a good chance for critical hits. I don't really see criticals that often, but it's still there. If it happens, we're going to get some good damage against those types, as well as Steel type as well. Not that he's weak to Steel, but it's good because he has no other real way to deal with a Steel type. And the Endeavor and Endure strategy is, let's say we're going to endure an attack on one turn, go down to 1 HP, and the Salac Berry will activate. It's going to give him a pretty good speed boost. On the next turn, if we use Endeavor, we will bring that Pokemon, bring the opponent down to 1 HP. Now, that could set up the opponent for like a quick knockout against, from one of my other Pokemon that come into battle. And the other thing is too, if we bring them down to 1 HP and let's say that they're already poisoned from Twineedle, the poison will then knock them out at the end of that turn. So, he hasn't really pulled through yet. He hasn't had a chance to do anything. He's been taken out so fast. I'm going to give him one more shot. After this, I am going to make a note that he's had 3 chances. I'm going to hold him off in reserve for future battles, and we'll just go from there. Now, for the returning victorious Pokemon to try to lead these guys into battle and get some victories will be Skippy the Swampert. This was my original starter back in the Sapphire game back on Game Boy Advance. He has the Lax Nature, which does give him a defense boost. I didn't make use of it for the super training, but you'll see why. His ability is the default Torrent, what all water starters get, so his water moves will be stronger if he gets low HP. And I gave him Bright Powder, again, kind of like with Fluffy. I'm not sure what item I should give him for the most beneficial boost, but Bright Powder might have him dodge some attacks. I was thinking Absorb Bulb, that, I don't know if Absorb Bulb increases the physical or special attack. I think it actually is special. So yeah, Absorb Bulb wouldn't work. I was thinking possibly have him get hit by a water move and gain some attack boost, but let's go with the Bright Powder as is. And the super training I put into the attack and special defense. I wanted to even the defenses as best I could, and they're only 10 points off, so that's not bad. Attack is 315, and the remainder of the super training went to the HP, which is also at 315. And his attacks are the same as they were before, because it was a victorious set, why switch it up? He has Waterfall, which could possibly get some flinches, although naturally he's not going to outspeed anybody with that 128 speed. But we're going to use Bulldoze, much like on Canuck, so that we can possibly lower the opponent's speed. Then we might be outspeeding and be able to get off some flinches from the Waterfall. Now, since Bulldoze will not affect a flying type because they're immune to ground, and we're not going to be able to slow them down, I did teach him Avalanche. Initially, I taught him that because he's weak to grass. Well, he's got really good physical attack. Avalanche is physical. Let's go with that. But as I've learned, he's more than likely not going to survive an attack, or like a grass-type attack from a grass-type Pokemon, so Avalanche will not really be useful against those Pokemon, but they will be good against flying types, which will normally avoid that Bulldoze. And for the time being, he still has Protect. I might want to teach him a different kind of physical move. I'll have to see what we can get, but that's going to be good for if anyone tries to power up a Solar Beam, we're going to be able to protect and block it on the second turn. Alright, so that is going to be the team for this week, and we're going to see how well we can do. Like I say, some of these Pokemon are not the most strategic when it comes to online battles, competitive play. But I'm hoping we're going to be able to get some Metronomes off and get some really unexpected results, as well as Shelly's Copycat, too. So we're going to give it our all, starting tomorrow with the Pokémon X live Wi-Fi battles. I hope you'll come back to the channel and check that out, root on the team, and see if we can get them into the victories. Alright, thanks for checking out this team building video, and I'll catch you next time.